Hello, all you tiny, beautiful people that for some reason stick around inside my computer. My name's Finn, and today I'm just giving you guys a little update, specifically a channel update, as I kind of haven't been doing a whole lot on the channel over this past week or so, mostly due to mental health. But I'm starting to feel better, as I've said in every video for the past week. So with that out of the way, let's get into what the update is about. So, as you guys know, Mondays, typically, unless there's outside interference, is a episode of The Quietest Show on the Internet, show where I talk really quietly for about 15 minutes. Wednesdays are kind of a catch-all day. They could be an update, they could be a creative thing, they could be talking about this, they could be an update for something else. It's kind of just my whatever I want to do with it day, which is why this is coming out on a Wednesday, because it doesn't interfere with other plans. And then Fridays are typically the longer videos, the videos I put a lot of time in. For example, videos of which I write a lot for, which can take so much time. But the update is that from now on, I'm going to be pursuing more wrestling content. However, let's get this out of the way, it's not becoming a wrestling channel. For example, this Friday may or may not be a wrestling thing. I don't actually know yet. But, like, hypothetically, Friday of this week is a wrestling video. Next week will not have a wrestling thing. Because what I'm thinking of doing is every other week there's a wrestling video. For example, I like to do fantasy booking, which is where I take an angle from the past or to the future, and I look at how I think it should and or should have gone. And I like making those. The two I've made have done fairly well, and I would like to continue to make those. So there's that. Now, theoretically, if I make one of those Friday, the next week wouldn't have any. That week would have something different for its Friday upload. And then the week after that would be a wrestling content thing. So I would be doing those every other week as to not oversaturate it. That sort of stuff is super intriguing to me. It is what I typically delve into the most. It's what I have a lot of fun making. So expect more of that. Excuse me. I have an idea for like a 3-parter of a wrestling thing, which may or may not come out Friday, depending on if I am able to write it by then, because I do work before Friday, and I would have to get it recorded by Friday morning. So, might take me a minute to get that written, but I have an idea. I have a 3-part idea about a single character. Well, technically 3 characters, 1 guy, whatever. But it's about one of my favorites and somebody who I'm super passionate about. So I have to finish writing the first of that 3-parter and then get it made and whatnot. So, with that out of the way, that's what's going to be happening. So every other week, the Friday upload will be a wrestling thing. It will still be long. It will still be thought out, and it will still be creative. Typically, I'm going to try to make them something where, let's say, somebody like me who spends a lot of time with wrestling could watch it and go, yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. Fun. This is neat. And somebody who has never seen wrestling before can come in and be like, oh, I understand, like, this character thing. Because I think wrestling, more so than a form of fake fighting, and more so than a way for theater kids to get muscles, is an art form. And a lot of people who are into it typically don't talk about that part of it. And I think being able to show wrestling and the more creative, artistic side of it to people is super intriguing. So, I'll start doing that. If that sort of content isn't for you, I apologize. I would advise giving it a watch the first time it happens, because I've done it twice before, once with Dominic Mysterio, actually technically three. Dominic Mysterio, Kevin Owens, and Rumble 23 or 4. 24, I think. I booked a Rumble, I booked Dominic, and I booked KO. And I would advise checking those out. They are fun, especially the Dom one. The Dominic one is really good. However, those bookings were me a year and some change ago. Those bookings were thrown together like an hour before I'd post them, and then I did a lot of improv during, whereas with the future ones I'm going to actually try to write like good stuff. And similarly, in the future, for example, if I did one on how Finn would book Retribution, which was a really bad angle, the first section of the video would be setting it up like, hey, this is what we're doing. Section 2 would be me explaining what happened and what went wrong. So in the future, I will be having to do research and write down the history of the thing that I'm booking or whatever, which is more intriguing to me, and hopefully that makes it more intriguing to others. So if you're not into wrestling, but you're into listening to me speak or my pitches or whatever, I would say still stick around, still try. I would beg you to try more and more and more, but if I'm being genuine with you, trying the 3-parter might be a good thing, because it will be fairly tight-knit. It's all about one character, multiple characters, one guy. It's all about like the lineage of that character and the lore behind it and stuff. And I'm gonna get fairly in-depth and fairly passionate because it's one of my favorites and maybe the best character in wrestling history. So there's that. However, if you try it out and you're not into it, no worries. There will be uploads 2 times a week that aren't that, alongside the weeks that don't have wrestling stuff. Speaking of, I am working on a longer version of my Spider-Man pitches. If you watched the MCU video that I made about like an MCU reboot, my own like little Marvel cinematic thing, I talk a lot about Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is my favorite. I have a Spider-Man coloring book at my feet currently. I love Spider-Man. And I have a shitload of Spider-Man movies. It's like 1 through 12. And they're all there and they're fun. And that video is good. But making one precise video about Spider-Man is probably better. And I've already kind of done one video about... how do I explain it? I've already done like one video about my idea of like 8 or 9 movies or whatever. And that was a while ago. That was like, I was not 19 yet. This was like over a year ago, I think. And I've added and whatnot since then. So I'll probably do a smaller upload on like a Wednesday of like, hey, here's the blueprint of like movie 1 through whatever the hell. And there's the blueprint. Cool. And then like that week or the next week, actually do like, hey, this is movie 1, and then in depth of all of it. And then like a week or 2 later, the same thing and whatnot for the next movie, and on and on and on. Because I have a lot of stuff in me head. So I've got a lot planned for the future. And that's about all I've got today. Depending on work hours and depending on personal stuff, I might stream Friday. Yeah, Friday. So, and that would be sometime after the upload. Video will probably be uploaded at like Some do them between 7 and 10. I'd probably stream, well, my time, 7 and 10. I don't know my time zones. Video would be posted, and then 2, 3, maybe 4 hours later, I would stream for a couple hours. We'll see what happens. I want to say thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for all of your help. This is the first time I've recorded a video since 750 happened and stayed that way. It's been back and forth between 750 and 749 over and over. But thank you guys so much for that. We're now on the road to 1,000, which is crazy, and I cried about that yesterday. So that's been really fucking cool and makes me feel things. Thank you guys so much for everything. Hopefully you're excited as I am for the content of the future. I love you guys so much. Remember to check out the Discord, and if you're feeling generous, check out the Patreon. Whoa. Goodbye. Bye-bye.